All right, well, thank you for letting me come here. As Larry said, my name is Mike Akpata, and Akpata is a Nigerian name. My dad came from Nigeria. I'm first-generation Canadian. My dad met my mother, who's from British Guyana at the University of Alberta, in '52. So where you guys are right now is where my family has been. I'm the first one outside of my family born in this country. So let me tell you something about these gentlemen first. Okay? Right off the bat, you see a discrepancy in age between them and myself. But there's a couple of things that you should see that are exactly the same. First of all, whether they were air crew, whether they were infantry, whether they were Navy, they all sacrificed something for a belief. A belief that in this country, everyone is equal, everyone has access, everyone shall be treated fairly, whether they knew you or not. At 17 and a half years old, they stopped what they were doing, they packed up their stuff, they got into planes, and they went to another country to stop abuses in that country from coming here. They didn't do it for glory. They surely didn't do it for money. They did it because it was the right thing to do. So fast forward to myself. I was in Afghanistan, attached to this gentleman's regiment, the 2nd Battalion Royal Canadian Regiment out of Gagetown, New Brunswick. I've been a reservist since 1987, attached to the Essex and Kent Scottish Regiment. My wife had just given birth to my daughter, who was 5 months old. My son had turned 2. My wife was not happy when I left. Okay? So people always ask me the question, why did I pick up and go to another country? And some people even said, it's not your fight, it's not our fight, why are you going there? Here's the reason why. When you walk through this community that we live in, you walk past streets with names like Dieppe, St. Julian, Normandy. These are streets that are named after historic Canadian battles where gentlemen of this generation sacrificed their future so we could have one. Very simple. My parents would not have been allowed to emigrate to this country if these gentlemen had not done what they did. Period. Because they did what they did, your family is here. Because they said, we don't care what color they are, we don't care what religion they are, we don't care what country they come from. If they want to be here, let them be here. And these gentlemen defended that. So knowing that, when it was my turn to go to Afghanistan, how could I say no? Because my family has benefited from their sacrifice. Period. Why did I go? Was it my fight? Yes, it was. Because in this country, as these gentlemen said, we have a responsibility to make sure that other people on this world live in the peace that we have. And if you come from another country that is not as peaceful as this is, you understand that. What price for peace? I was willing to sacrifice myself so that somebody else, somewhere else, could sleep peacefully. When I was in Afghanistan, the terrorists put the bombing on the British underground and killed 55 people on buses going to work. Canada had not yet lost 55 soldiers in a war in Afghanistan. It was safer to be a combat soldier in Afghanistan than it was to be someone riding the subway in England. I could not stand for that. I never want to see an explosion in Windsor. I never want to hear of a building blowing up in Toronto. I never want to hear of a bridge being dynamited in Montreal. In order to stop that here, I went there. And if they asked me to do it again, I would. Hundreds of thousands of Canadian soldiers, sailors, airmen, and airwomen have sacrificed themselves so that we can sit in a room, interracial, interreligious, men and women, different generations and different ages, to talk without fear of somebody coming through that door and dragging us away. And in some countries, we know that that is not the case. As these gentlemen have said, this is the best country in the world, period. You can be whatever you choose to be if you work hard. You can go anywhere in this country with freedom. You can be anything you want to be, because at night your house shall not explode because of what these gentlemen have done. And I am lucky to have joined their fraternity of service. We do it because it's the right thing to do. And all people want, regardless of where they are, is to raise their families and live in peace. That's all they want. And sometimes you have to stand up for something so that the bad people, simply put, do not win. I have seen the face of evil. I know there are monsters under the bed. And with this group of men, we will do whatever in our power to stop other people from experiencing it. When I was in Afghanistan, I saw what people are willing to do to stop other people. I saw places where people were tortured. I saw places where the Taliban had destroyed historic monuments. I saw a country that all the people wanted to do was to live in peace. If the 36 member countries had not gone in to stop, there would have been another horrible set of circumstances that may have happened in Bosnia, that might have happened in Rwanda, or any of these other countries where the West and other countries decided they weren't going to go. Simply put, I have 2 children, a daughter and a son. Biracial children. There are people on this planet that will not like them because their mother is white and I am black. Those children of mine will stand up because they've grown up in this household with these values so that anyone can achieve anything. I firmly believe that. Because if you look at me and what I've achieved, in the police department, I'm the sergeant major in charge of the Windsor Police Honor Guard. Did a good enough job to become the sergeant major of the province of Ontario for the Ontario Police Memorial. I run the largest police function in Ontario. They gave it to me because of my skill and abilities, because I'd proven myself. And if you prove yourselves in this country because of the freedoms not given, but guaranteed by service, you can succeed. And all we ask of you as new Canadians is to push the bar for yourselves further so that my children who were born here push as well. Because we're all in one little boat. There's only 35 million of us in this country. That's not a lot of people. We have everything we need to be the best country in the world, including the people. For those of you who have come here who have experienced things other than this lifestyle, you need to tell people who've always lived here how good a country it is. Because sometimes people who've lived here 40, 50, 60, 80, 90 years, their families, forget what's going on in other countries. If you've come from somewhere and found peace here, you need to tell your story because it validates you and it validates these gentlemen's service. So when you think of the word veterans, I've got gray hair too, I cover it up sometimes. It's not just gentlemen with gray hair. It isn't, even though I've got mine. I can tell you of a young lad who's a corporal from 2nd Battalion Royal Canadian Regiment who is now turning 24, who's done 3 tours of Afghanistan, and by all means is just as much a veteran as any of these gentlemen is. It means sacrifice and service for country, for people, for flag, and for one reason. It is the right thing to do. If you get nothing from today at all, you have looked into the eyes of history. You have met aircrew. You have met Cold War on the ground, stopping the Russian invasion individuals. You have touched world history that has changed this country to allow the legislation that opened its doors to your families and to mine. So let's make sure we understand something. The gift of freedom that you have is a gift. And it breeds responsibility, in my opinion, not rights. You're responsible for your own actions. You are responsible for your own behavior. You are responsible to make yourself better and this country better so that the next group of immigrants who come look to you for guidance and leadership. Look to you on how to figure out what they can do to make this country better so that their families can be successful as I believe mine is. But you have to participate. You have to exercise your rights. You have to know what's going on, and you have to make yourself better. Because just as the same way we answered the call, who knows when another group of bad people are going to say, we're going to take your rights away. We don't like how you look, therefore you shall be put in a concentration camp, and that will be it. And if nobody stands up for you, she'll be gone, he'll be gone, he'll be gone, he'll be gone. And that's what we do. We stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves because it's the right thing to do. In this country, be anything. Succeed. Achieve. But remember this. Somebody paid a price. We're here. We all know comrades who are not. It's not just about Canada, it's about doing the right thing. And now that you're here, I have an expectation of you, these gentlemen have an expectation of me, and we have an expectation of each other. And it's important. Because if you understand it, you will be better here, and the country will be better, because that's what you're here for. To make this place better and stronger, so we do it right. And to welcome the next group of immigrants who come here, like my parents who are welcomed, so that their families can grow and prosper, and we make this country the best country, and we keep it as the best country that it is. Because it is. When you are done today, and you walk home, listen for the sound of helicopters or explosions or tanks or gunfire. You will not hear it. The gift that we've given to you isn't your citizenship or it's your freedom. It's of our time. We want you to understand what we have done, why we did it, and we want you to be more successful than we are. For then at the end of the day, the sacrifice that we have made is worth it. And that's what I challenge you all to do. Be better, be best, and bring your families and your friends along so they can succeed and accept everything that this country has to offer. And if the world did the right thing, you wouldn't need armies, you wouldn't need police. It would be absolutely wonderful. But I'm not so naive. And if by going somewhere else it makes this country safe, I will go. And all of these gentlemen have gone. So I'm not going to suggest I speak for them, but I understand what they say. And I understand why they did what they did, because I have done it. Decades later, same reason, same desire, same goals and objectives. Stop tyranny, protect oppressed people, make sure that Canada stays safe. You guys are here. Enjoy it. Be the best possible people you can be. And be successful. And when you walk outside, listen to the quiet of this community. And understand that somebody somewhere did something so that we can have it. And if you just appreciate it for 5 seconds, our work and our task is done. And why I say 5 seconds is, it's hard to listen to nothing. And you will hear the silence when you walk out of the door. And if you just pause for a moment to go, wow, it is quiet, my job is done. Because it's quiet and it is peaceful and you are safe. As a veteran, that's all I can ask for. And I'm glad you're here. Welcome to Canada. Do your best to succeed. Set the bar higher. Be the best you can be. Find the cure for cancer. Become the Prime Minister. Get involved. Make changes. Make this country better. That's what we need. That's what we expect from you. Thank you.